Most people talk about social media like it's a growth hack. This episode is about creativity, comedy, and what it actually costs to show up publicly over a long career. Today I'm joined by Jen Fricker, comedian, writer, broadcaster, and one of the sharpest cultural observers in the country, for a real conversation about finding your voice online, surviving burnout, trusting the creative process, and why not everything needs a hot take. This episode is proudly brought to you by Sked Social, the social media management platform built for people who care about good ideas and good distribution without burning themselves out trying to be everywhere all at once. Let's get into it. It's funny, like when I first started doing podcasts, I was like, we just started doing it online. And then it was like 150 episodes in, we finally done an in-person one. I'm like, do I look in their eyes? Like,
I know.
what to do, you know?
I know. It's such a different rhythm too. You're like, like, because you got to give a bit more space online just in case, you know. But yeah, it's interesting. I feel like it's really changed like the way people communicate on podcasts. These like kind of apps. Yeah.
100%. I just think like, well, you've been in the game for how long? How long you been doing all this?
Too long. I started in media. I got my first job off Twitter back in like 2011. I got a job at the Sydney Morning Herald back when they could pay people money to write. And I got a job just from being funny on Twitter. And then started working TV shortly after that. And then started at Triple J in 2014, just on like overnights. And then was there till 2019. Because I was like, 2020 is going to be my year.
Yeah. Little did you know.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to quit my lovely government job and just rely entirely on live touring. And then I'm going to move to the States. What could go wrong? And then, luckily, like I started podcasting shortly after. I think most people did.
Yeah, I think it was that time, wasn't it, when it was just like, what are we going to do? And rather than like have that negative energy around just like stress and anxiety, it's like, need to channel this into something. Hey.
Yeah. And I think also like, I look back at that time and I'm like, it's so weird that that happened to all of us. And we kind of just don't talk about it anymore because no one wants to. And that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But just like, I think the crazy things we were doing to feel connected to people. I was going on like Zoom dates with strangers and started about like 1,000 podcasts and doing like live stream watching Drag Race and like fully lent in to just like I live online now, which is so I feel like very distant from that version of myself now.
That's a good thing. Well, when you first started like with Twitter, was it just like you making jokes? Like, how did you find your voice?
I mean, just me making jokes. I was like an early adopter of Twitter. I was in like 2007, which like it's too early.
Yeah,
It was really like there were 13 people on there. But it's where like a lot of writers and editors and stuff were. So I was like, it wasn't even like a thoughtful thing. I feel like in the years since I've been online, I guess, strategy towards it has like really become a thing, and posting at certain times and algorithms and stuff like that. That was just like I would say like 2012 Twitter was just a gorgeous utopia of dorks talking to each other and just like making silly puns. And I would really like like watching Q&A and like writing funny jokes about people on there, or just like observational stuff or whatever. It wasn't a promotional tool at all. It was just a thing where we could talk to each other, which is
How do you find it now with like when there's so much strategy behind everything? And you know, I think at the start it's just like creativity just sort of flows because you're just like, it's fun and interesting. But then when it becomes a business or your life where it's like, okay, we need to put those goals in place, did it change much for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting because I work on like both sides, I guess, in that I work for brands. I do social media content for brands, like both as like Jen Fricker, the comedian, but also like at creating content strategies and things like that. And then also in my own comedic stuff, like it now is like my personal social media, before anyone looks at it and goes, ugh, I use it as like a scratchbook and a diary more than like strategy, which is like much to the chagrin of my manager, who is like, please just post regularly, please. Um, but on the other hand, like really love working with people who are like, I have a goal and this is who it is and this is what it is, and I really love finding creative solutions to those kinds of problems. You know what I mean? Um, but I think this is a really fluffy and roundabout way of answering your question. I always think about this thing that when I was at the ABC, they put me through like a content training course, and uh, the main headline from it was content is king, but distribution is queen. And so I just always thought, okay, so if you lead with a good, interesting, funny, entertaining, informative, whatever it is, idea, and then just doing like two things that will make sure it gets eyes on it. And I always just feel like it really is two things. Like you can definitely build it out to more like, you know, powerful means of getting to people. But you really just kind of just look at what time people are online or whatever, or just like look at who's looking at your stuff. Then I feel like you really just can get your creative idea to who you want to get it to.
How many times do you see like a good YouTube channel where the information's unreal, but
Yeah.
they just haven't nailed like the distribution? Like it's not making me interested in click. I'm only clicking it because I'm that deep down the rabbit hole on just random shit that I come across it. Where it's like
Yeah.
this is such good stuff. If you just done a few things, do you see that all the time?
All the time. And it's like I kind of give it a bit of grace too, because it's like everyone's in a process. I'm very like artists, you know, we're finding our voice. I'm hippy dippy about it. But I do go like, man, like sometimes I think the struggle is just to be like, it's okay that I'm here. Like people just showing up in the first place, just to post to YouTube or TikTok or whatever. People are like, oh, I don't know if I should be here. And so like that's the first hurdle. And then it doesn't get any traction because they haven't really like ordered the information, or maybe the sound's a bit whack or like something like that. And it's just like a little thing. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like, it's a toolbox, but you got to know how to use the tools in your toolbox. You can't just show up with a high powered saw one day and be like, yeah, I'm going to use this and it's going to be fine.
How do you go with all the new tools that are coming in then when you've created something where you're really happy with the process, where you mentioned the one or two things that you always do? Do
Mm,
you add stuff in and try stuff out, or do you just
all the time.
yeah.
All the time. I think that's being creative, right? It's risk. I've spent like a lot of time in the States and I love going there. I mean, not so much at the moment, but I love going there because the American attitude to everything, like you tell them you're from Australia, they're like, oh my God, you're from Australia? Like they just cannot fathom the idea that you've put in the effort just to show up. They're like, that's amazing. And they're all like convinced that they're future millionaires and they're just on the path to greatness. And I just kind of think like, everything you post is a step closer to whatever it is you're trying to do. It's just like not giving up on that process. There's like an American who was like, you've got to fall in love with the process of greatness. And the greatness is in the failure as well as the success, which is like such an American thing. He was literally a bartender. Like, but he just like these little nuggets of, I really like it. It gets too much sometimes, but I really like that idea that like every crumb, every whatever it is you're doing, every droplet that you add into the bucket of whatever is out there is like getting you closer to whatever it is. Whether you want to be better at public speaking or get a following or become more visible, like raising your profile, or you're a business who wants to like share your products with people, whatever it is. I feel like every little thing you do gets you closer. And so obviously we all have our own metrics on what's successful and what isn't. But I also think you got to play the season, not the game, you know?
I love that. And being around people who are like not only just like positive and glass half full, but like they're in it and they understand your world and they can give you that constructive feedback. But
Yeah.
like when you're around like people, I think that just like draw you down or always look for the negatives, I feel like it can really impact the creative work. So you see these people in America, they're all just so hyped for everyone. And like,
Oh, yeah.
and when it feels genuine, it actually does really good stuff for like momentum and things like that. Hey,
100%. And it's such a game changer. It's hard, especially like with comedy. Like it is quite a cruel and nasty world at times. Entertainment generally. And I think everyone else's successes. So I've got like hair stuck in my lip gloss.
I don't.
That'll be great for the podcast. Yeah. It'll be great for the podcast listeners. Anyway, yeah, in comedy, it's quite like a cruel world where everyone's successes are very visible. So it's really easy to compare yourself and look around at your peers and be like, well, they're doing this and I'm not doing that. And, oh, I've heard this person say this about that person. So maybe they'll say about me. And there is just a thing of, you know, you have to, I mean, these are all kind of really basic truths, but you do kind of have to block a bit of, there's got to be an element of delusion and an element of self-protection, I think, in all creative things, not just social, but like in all creative things, you just have to be like, I deserve to be here. It's okay that I'm here. I give myself permission to be here. I'm really woo-woo about this stuff, but I feel like you have to be. Like, it's really, I feel like any piece of art or any piece of creative whatever, any piece of something that like moves you or finds you, it could just be like a TikTok or a meme or whatever. It, even if it doesn't find like a wide audience, it'll find someone and it'll find someone right at the right moment where maybe they're having a shit time or they just want to laugh, or they're like, I gotta impress this person I'm flirting with in the DM, so I'm gonna send them this. So I always just, yeah, have to trust. You just have to trust.
I love that. And sometimes, like, I think, like, I put stuff out there and it's like, oh, I hope everyone likes it. But it's like, no, it's like trusting that what you're doing is the right people will like what you're doing. And that's all
Yeah.
that matters. And you kind of have that blind faith, hey, of like, it's just if I keep showing up and keep doing this, like, I feel like it'll grow. I feel like there's so many times where I've personally just stopped because of that. Because it's like, all right, I didn't get that instant gratification from that one or two things. It's like, no, keep
Yeah.
showing up, obviously keep improving. But it's like, it's a bit of a process, isn't it, to find your people?
100%. And also just nothing's ever wasted. Every time you make a video, the next one's going to be better than the last, because like you'll learn something about yourself, how you write, how you make things, how long it takes you to make something, whether you could do something more easily, whatever. But then, yeah, like I think, I just think that you'll inevitably get better by doing something over and over again, or you'll become insane. That's the other saying they have about that.
I feel like comedy could be one of the like most nerve-wracking things that people can do. Was it nerve-wracking for you when you dipped into that, especially like a live show when you got an audience? And like for me, I feel like I'd be thinking about everything so much that I feel like the delivery would suck, or you know what I mean? I'm already talking to myself in that sense. So how, when you first got into this, did you like overcome it? And what was it like when you first started doing it in front of audiences?
Oh man, I was kind of lucky. I've like been thinking about this a lot because I've been working with a lot of younger comedians and newbie comedians at the moment. And I'm lucky because I think when I came into comedy, I really wasn't aware of how the industry works. I was so green and I was so, maybe like I didn't know enough. So I just would show up and just do it and then be like, oh, this actually means something? Shit, like I didn't know. And then I mean I have an anxiety disorder, so like obviously that's like part of it all. And so there have been times where I've really been like crippled with panic and stuff. But I think, again, like kind of understanding that that's the process. Like falling on your ass is the process. Failing is the process as well. It's just like maybe trying to find safer places to fail then makes it easier to succeed, because like if you can quietly fail somewhere or fail in a way that you don't feel like is world ending, then at least you can bring like whatever nugget of whatever you learned in that to, or refining a set or whatever, to a bigger audience. You'll always become stronger. I don't know, it's kind of like you kind of refine by chipping away. That's kind of the thing I do. And like, the process for comedy is like you can't practice it at home. For stand up at least anyway. You can't practice stand up at home. You have to practice it by doing it in front of people. And so the inbuilt risk of falling on your ass means like it will be realized. You will at some point absolutely eat it and it's going to be bad, but it ends and then you keep going. And I think once you know it's not going to kill you, you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. And what about like when, so say if you're doing a set and stuff and like a heckler or something happens where it puts you off, is there things that you do to get yourself back when you're doing these types of things?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I unfortunately, like, I hate when people heckle my shows, but I kind of love it. Like, I
Yeah.
kind of enjoy it. I know a lot of people don't. Um, I think it's really, again, it's this thing of you're so aware that your time on stage is finite. You know, you've only got an hour or 20 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is. So you're like, well, however this goes, it'll be done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever this person says to me, it only exists here and then it's done. And all I can do is just like ride this wave, you know? That's all. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you can't. Yeah, it's so interesting to me. People who like heckling is like awful and disgusting. And it is. It's disrespectful to like other people in the space. But it's also like, I don't know, it's an industry built on drunks. Like it's an industry built on like poking fun at things and stuff. So you kind of have to expect that there's risk. In any live performance, there's risk. In anything you create, there's risk that's gonna flop, that it's gonna be received not the way you want or whatever. None of it's gonna kill you.
Yeah. And opportunities from like when things go wrong, you can really like capitalize on it. You know, like if you've got a
Yeah.
shitty comeback, that can end up being part of the next show or something that you might not have thought about before and things like that. Yeah.
100%. And people use that all the time. Like, how many times have you heard a comedian be like, I did a show and then this guy said this to me in the front row and then I said this and everyone thought I was funny and clapped. Like, it's, everything can be spun into something. That's like, I feel like I am really becoming so hippy dippy about it, but I truly believe this all finds its place somewhere. And I just remember when I was really young, starting out, I would beat myself up so much about something not working or having a bad show or whatever. And I would have a lot of bad shows at the beginning because I was new. And I remember one night I was at the Brisbane Comedy Festival. I got out of my show. Will Anderson, sorry, name drop, got out of his show and he was like, you okay? And I'm like, I don't know if I should be here. This sucks. I suck. The show's not working. Blah, blah, blah. It just feels like a massive waste of time. And he was like, every minute you're on stage, you're learning something about the craft. Whether you're making people laugh or you're sucking, you're learning something. Nothing is ever wasted. And it's really helped me a lot with heckling and stuff too, or just talking crowd work. Like, there's just always something that's going to pop up. People are so strange and people are so interesting. And so you just have to like kind of keep trusting. It's like it has to be a really open thing. You have to be really open to other people and to like receiving stuff from other people. And I think people don't get that. They think that like the comedian is this like authoritative figure that when you walk on stage, you're like, everyone bow down, shut up, listen to me, I'm the smartest person. But really what it is, it's like a shared experience. Like it is like you're maybe leading the experience for a bit, but you gotta be receptive to the fact that other people are there.
What about like ideas for shows and stuff? I'm sure whenever you're doing anything, if something pops in, you're just like bang it in the notes app or something like that. Is it?
I'm literally, I'll tilt my camera. I've got like a whiteboard that I'm writing my 2026 show on at the moment. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's literally just, I look like an insane person. Like I'm just scrolling every possible, at this stage in my writing, every possible setup, every possible joke, every possible whatever I've told onto the board. I'm like a visual person. I put it all on note cards and then I just rearrange and write the connective tissue through each bit. And that's my process. Other people have different ones. I used to just like talk stuff out into my voice memo app the way I would talk to a friend when I try and make someone laugh, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's different for everyone. I know some people just can sit down and open up an empty document and just populate it and then they're done. So, yeah.
I feel like there's so many like funny people that I know, but being a comedian, I feel like is a different beast. You know, it's whether you're a funny person or you can put together like a funny sort of show. Do you find that when you're in certain situations, the pressure to be funny when you're doing things because you are a comedian, where people are like, "Oh, I'm expecting her to be funny," and I need like,
Bit, a bit, and definitely sometimes and like I don't tell people I'm a comedian. Like, and again, an Uber or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I work in accounting. Like, I just don't want
yeah,
to.
the
I
first
don't
thing
want to
is
talk
like
that.
Coke, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, you do comedy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like, do you like this horrific comedian? Or like, what's this person like? I do feel that. Not so much anymore. I kind of enjoy being dour and strange in real life.
Adds to the mystery, hey?
Yeah. Plus, also, there has to be a delineation between who you are. And it's like same with any like social media or whatever. Like you aren't who you actually are. Or I don't know, in radio, I remember someone saying like on radio, you're you plus or minus 10%. And I feel like that's like the thing too. It's like you have to have a little bit that's just you for real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about like when you're stuck for ideas, when you've got that like creative block? Are there things that you do to get yourself back into it? Like, how do you like reset?
I love like just consuming stuff that I like and just like trying to see things. I've like had a bit of a block, I would say for like the last 2 years, honestly. I went through some pretty hectic stuff in my personal life, that like really put the brakes on feeling funny. And so for 2 years I was just like, well, you know what? Rather than like forcing myself through this and rather than like kind of making stuff that feels bad, I'm just gonna go watch the people that inspire me or watch new stuff. And I ended up I ended up going on this like work trip to London and it was during the Edinburgh Fringe. So I was like, oh, I'll just like get the train up and check some shows out. And ended up seeing all this stuff that truly like things I've never seen and would never otherwise see before. And I was so inspired. And also I saw some absolute terrible shows. And I was like, okay, well, I know I don't want to do that. But there's, like, energy. I think it's, like, an energy to be around. You don't necessarily have to force through those well, you can't. I feel like it's like anything. When you feel sad or whatever, you're like, "I'm just gonna be happy. I'm gonna force my way out of it." It's like, it doesn't work like that. You gotta process it. You gotta metabolize it, but you can feed yourself nourishing things while you do it.
And the pressure to always be on and relevant, I think, as well. It's like, all right, I don't want to lose momentum, but like life happens and things happen, and it's like, like I feel like in my mind at least, I'm like, I've only got this short amount of time to capitalize on what I've built, and it's
Mm.
like you got to experience life as well, like not be fake, like you were saying. It's like so hard to force a smile when you don't feel like that.
Yeah, and look, sometimes I will say too, I've been going through the worst times ever, and then I go do a show and I'm like, "Oh, this is good." And again, it's like the energy of being in it and the energy of like other people and just maybe having to put that persona on like has lifted me up a bit. But I think yeah, I think there's a thing too of like no one wants to see you struggle. And I really learned that quite early again because I was dealing with in my early 20s, I was like so anxious and like I went through these like kind of very long, depressive stages in my life. Or again, beating myself up if a show didn't go well. So then I'd walk into the next show and be like, well, last one went like this, so I guess I'm just this type of person and this is how it's gonna go. Literally no one wants to see you struggle. No one wants to sit there or like watch a video of a person just like just grasping for anything. Like and I think I'm really obsessed with the idea now of like creating micro communities around you rather than trying to like be like I'm going to amass the most amount of everything. It's more just like what are you enriching around you? Like what are you giving to like the people who are still rocking with you even when you're maybe going through something or just needing to take a step back. Like people are waiting for you on the other side of that. So like I think planting seeds a bit closer to home, if that makes sense, is like and like for me, I again in the last couple of years, I'm working on a new show now and I'm really excited to like be back out there and getting on the road again and doing all this stuff. And it's been lovely because I really thought like, oh, everyone's gonna forget about me like that. And it's like the artists that I really love, the comedians I really love, the writers I really love, I don't go, well, they didn't do anything for 2 years, so I guess I'm giving up on them. I like
Yeah. You might
I-
excited, aren't you?
Yeah.
To like, oh, I like their stuff. They're taking a break. It's like with music. It's like that album cycle of the 2 years, the tour, and even when
Yeah.
they take a longer break, I'm more excited. I don't forget, but
Yeah.
it's just a different thing, isn't it?
Well, it's like, I mean, I'm someone I'm really inspired by, and I was listening to Lena's episode of your podcast, and she talked a little bit about it. But like, I'm really inspired by Charlie XCX. You know, like she has gone through so many phases, and she started when she was like 17 or something, and this whole brat thing that happened to her, and the way she talks about it, she's like, I just made this for me. I wasn't expecting anything, and then it turns into this whole thing, and then like the way she's kind of done many iterations on the same thing. Like it's about to be a movie. It's been this, it's been that. There was fashion lines and all these things. And it's like, I think that was so cool. Even her joining TikTok. I remember I listened to her do a podcast interview where she talked about how she thought TikTok is related to the idea of like futurism. Like it's where like things are being pushed forward and people are trying stuff and people are risking, like not risking things, but trying new things that aren't necessarily um, what was expected of them. And I think her joining it and doing weird stuff, doing her letterbox reviews, doing sponsored content, and her being like, guys, I know, like, I'm doing sponsored content. Please just rock with me through this so I can make some money. Like, I think that was cool and part of the brat moment, too. It's like this commentary on parasocial relationships and how social media works and how marketing works and how being an artist works in like a modern age. And then this brat era is going to end really soon. And I'm really excited to see what she does next.
I love that. It's like the audience grows with you too. So at the like, I think of bands straight away. I feel like the older they get, more like they might start off like a really hard punk band, and then it sort of softens as they get older, and they talk about
Yeah.
different things, and it's like, oh, I'm going through the same sort of stuff, so I get it now. You know,
Yeah.
you look forward to those different phases.
Well, it's like, you know, with I remember you mentioned on a podcast episode like you like Blink-182, right?
Yeah.
And like when I was 10 years old, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, the album, was on high rotation simply because of the album title and how rude and naughty they were. And as a kid, I was like, this is so funny. And then I get to my 20s and I look back and I have this like kind of artifact from the time, but I'm also closer to their age when they were making it. And I'm like, oh, it's actually so funny these grown men were making this. And now watching them tour as like kind of old dudes,
Yeah.
and just how cheeky and silly they are still, and their joy in playing these old songs, but then also like their growth too. I Again, like all of these things find you at the right time. These like little crumbs that they've left, well, not little crumbs, but these things that they've made and they've like created throughout their artistic life find me in different iterations of myself and mean different things to me at different times. And I think that's cool. I've never been like, no, well, Blink took 4 years off, so I'm not interested in them ever again. Yeah. So I don't know. I think you gotta like start thinking about. I don't know. I think it's freeing to. I think it's freeing to think about like I'm not going to be this. Nothing is ever going to be the same forever. David Bowie, like the way he evolves through all these different eras of his career, like Beyonce. And then on the other hand, like you got comedians like Chappelle. Like, I mean, I'm not rocking with his latest stuff, but I used to really rock with like a lot of his stuff. Um, there are all different ways that you can still show up. It doesn't have to be the same thing. And sometimes you have to like be ready to let it go too. Like that you go like, I don't want to be making the same jokes that I was making in my early 20s. That would be humiliating.
And I
I want
think
to shows that I've grown.
exactly. I think the best stuff is like when you create stuff for yourself, hey, where it's like, I'm making this, whether if no one listens to it or cares, I know that I really like it. And I
Yeah.
think that's when you got the most conviction, and people can feel that, hey.
Yeah, absolutely. I think too, like, I notice it a bit, like, I'm trying to get it back to social media because I know that a lot of people who listen to your podcast are in that industry. But like when I get asked to do like social media videos, at the beginning I used to think, well, I'll go look at how like influencers would make this type of video and then I'll do the same. And it always felt like a very hollow and inauthentic thing and would never do well. And then I'll never get hired again by these brands because like these videos have flopped. And then like I did this one for Ready Express last year, which is like the $1 coffee machine.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love $1 coffee. I have genuine enthusiasm for it. So what if I made like a kind of high art film about like servo coffee? And it ended up doing really well. But I treated it like I wrote it like a sketch. Like I wrote it like I'm gonna make a Terrence Malick inspired short film about servo coffee. And people, it went well. It was fun to make. It was easy to make because I like had enthusiasm about it. I wasn't just trying to eke out like a get ready with me. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just not my thing. Um, and yeah, it's hard to sustain that obviously, but I do try and just go like, oh, I have this really thing of like, what is everyone else doing? I don't want to do that.
I love that. I love that. Like authentically plugging into trends and stuff or things that are happening, I think is the best way to do it. Like I always thought like whenever we got opportunities to do like these higher polish things, I always felt like I needed to change my
Yeah.
hat where it was like, no, like people they dig it because I'm a bit rough around the edges. So
Yeah.
doing that, you know?
Yeah. It's so funny too. Like I just think that we are our own worst enemies always. Always, always, always. It's always a mental game, isn't it? And then it's like what you're saying, someone came to you with extra resources. They were like, "We want you and we've got like more stuff to give you so we can give you a bit more polish on the product." And then you go, "Oh no. Oh, I've got to change everything about myself quickly."
Yeah, yeah, and use all the tools when it's like, well,
Yeah.
maybe you don't need to use all the tools or you don't need to do it in the way that everyone else does it. There's a reason why this opportunity sort of come, you know?
Yeah, they picked you because of the stuff you make. They didn't pick you to be like, "Hey, we wanna change her.
Yeah.
We actually want a different thing from what you do." I mean, look, that sometimes happens as well too, like, people maybe have ideas of, like, who you are or what it is that you can do for them, but I just always think, like, ultimately it's why I loved radio. It's like I felt like I could always just show up as myself,
Yeah.
and people didn't like it, people liked it, but I never felt pressure to be like, oh, this is my idea of what a radio presenter should be, so I should do that. I found it really liberating when I could just show up and be like, "Hey, I slept on the studio floor because I went and saw the Star Wars movie at midnight last night." And just came to the studio afterwards because I knew that I would, miss my shift, and people rocked with it. I mean, there's not a lot of workplaces would necessarily let you do it, but I don't know. I just think authentic expressions of yourself are always gonna be so much more interesting, and I just yeah, it's a thing I kinda struggle with now where I look at how algorithms really push, like, trending stuff, and I go, "Man, like, by the time I figure out a unique take on this, it's gonna be over,"
Yeah.
and I don't know how to do that. Other than but then sometimes I'll be like, "Just do it with fun, I guess. Just have fun with it. Don't think about it too much."
Yeah.
That's
Have
the other way.
Do you feel the pressure to sometimes when you work in media where you have to have a take on something trending that's coming out and it's like,
Yeah.
maybe I don't have like if I don't have it, do you let it go through to the keeper or do you try and make something up? Or
Really depends. Like, social media is so similar to radio in that I feel like there's, like, the least amount of hands between you and the audience. It's really just, like, in a radio studio, you hit the on mic button and then you're out there, and with social media, you just hit publish and you're out there. Um, on radio and, like, a lot of TV shows I've written on are, like, topical comedy TV shows. There's an idea that you just have to have an opinion about everything every day, and I do find that very exhausting, and I really burnt out about it for a long time afterwards. I can also kinda see what it does to a person. There are some people that I'm not gonna name names, but I go, "Oh, you're just used to, like, having to speak every day about something, and sometimes, like, you're contributing to noise, and
Yeah.
you're not actually saying anything, and you're getting yourself into trouble, or you're devaluing your voice because you're forcing out, like, these half-cooked takes." But, yeah, I mean, I definitely remember days on radio where I'd be like, "I don't feel anything about this.
Yeah.
You gotta believe me, I've got no stories for you today." And that's when you hit the text line. That's when you go, "Hey, call in, what's up?"
I
And
yeah. You
oh, sorry.
No, but just with the news and stuff, I feel like when we were doing the news and covering that, I felt like
Mm.
almost depressed where it was like all these things and I'm like, I don't really care. And if I put out an opinion here and I don't really stand by what I want to say anyway. So it's like,
Mm,
and then we just kind of stopped doing it because it was kind of a bit depressing and having to like jump on that hamster wheel. Hey,
100%. And don't you feel like too, the stuff where you're like, I don't really care, I guess I'll just say something. It's always stuff you get like tripped up on too. It's always just stuff where you accidentally say something and you're like, I didn't mean it like that. People are like, guess what? You're canceled. Bye. And
yeah,
you're just like, I'm sorry. Like I just had airtime to feel. Like I wasn't trying to take down your grandma or whatever. Like I just yeah, it's so hard. I mean, that's why like I really envy people who, especially on social media too, which I do feel like is like the new radio truly. Like it goes with people wherever they are. Um I really envy those people who can just go like, I have like my format and this is it and it's solid and I know I can exist in that and like that's what it is. And I love it when people figure that out, you know. Not me, but I love it. But I do. I feel the burnout, especially new stuff too. Like I remember so distinctly again finishing up at Triple J, and then the news of 2020 and on started happening. And I did feel I used to really do like a lot of topical stuff on socials or in my stand up and always having a take on something. And it was exhausting and oftentimes like was in hindsight now I'm like, I don't think that had any value. Like, but I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I figured out that it didn't work for me. I think sometimes that's the other thing too, is you got to figure out what's not for you.
I love that. What about like the hardest parts of like living a public life, like having personal stuff go on, and then do I talk about it? Do I not? Are people going to ask me? Like, does that sort of stuff like weigh on your mind as well when you live like a public life in the media?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've definitely retreated a lot since in the last 5 years. I think yeah, but I mean, like people can Google me. I was like attacked on air, and when I was at Triple J, uh, someone was stalking me for 8 months, and then broke into the studios and attacked me on air. Um,
Fuck.
and it was brutal. It was brutal because I was so visible. Like I was so like I was on like have you been paying attention the following Tuesday? My own colleagues like leaked to the media about it. Like it was so full on. And um I remember like people were coming up to my boyfriend on the street and being like, "Is she okay?" People like calling my dad's business to like get quotes. I remember I was, like, at a club dancing, like, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm finally out of the house having a good time," and a girl came up to me and was just, like, grabbed my hand, she's like, "I hope you're okay, I've heard what's happened." I'm like, "This is not the time. I'm having a good one."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's really hard. I spent a lot of time I'm still, like, unpacking it. I think it's been, like, 7 years. It's a weird thing. It feels like an asteroid hit me.
Yeah.
An asteroid came from outer space and just hit me,
Yeah.
and no one else was around to really understand it, but they're like, "Wow, you got hit by an asteroid? That's crazy.
Hope
Do you
you.
wanna talk about it?" Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it would be tough. Sorry that happened to you, and it must feel like there's no real escape either, is there? It's not like because it's your job. Like I need
Mm.
to pay rent or I need to do this as well. You
I
know.
mean, it just realigned a lot of things for me. I think, you know, I'm a person that sometimes needs to be pushed. I don't jump, you know? And so there was definitely things going on in my life that at that time that maybe I was avoiding. And so sometimes you just need a big asteroid to hit you and you really reassess everything. But it's definitely, you know, it changed the way I put myself out on social media. It changed the way I perform, how much I perform, where I perform, who I work with. Like it changed a lot of things. But in a way it really made me go, um, oh, I'm really going to step up and advocate for myself now. I started working in media when I was 21. At that point, I think I was 28, perhaps, when it happened. And I always thought my best attribute was being the first person to say yes, being super easy to work with, super boundary. Oh, you need extra? I'll give you extra. That's all good. And when I realized like all those systems around me failed me, Like, my politeness didn't save me from any of that. It didn't make it any easier. It didn't make people care anymore. I was like, "Oh, okay. No worries. I'll just do what I wanna do now."
Yeah.
It clarified everything. I ended up just, like, I think I went to Mexico for, like, a month by myself, just traveling around, surfing, and just being like, "Man, I'm gonna live my life now. What am I chipping away in the content mines every day for?
Yeah.
To just be, like, assaulted by some stranger and then let down by my workplace? Like, that sucks."
Yeah.
Um, and also realizing too, like, there's so much more to life than just whatever it is, like, chasing that approval or chasing that career progression and stuff that, ultimately, I don't know, especially in Australia too, like, sometimes I'm like, "What are we all kinda hustling for here?" Like, what are we all kind of asking for?
The tug of war, isn't it? Where it's like, I feel like I'd be content just laying on a beach, cruise and not having an opinion on anything. But then I'm
Mm.
so like, no, I do love having the ambition and drive and thirst for something as well. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's been thought in my head. And then seeing, being around successful people and seeing the trade-offs and stuff that they have to make, where a lot of people who are highly successful might not have the most chill personal life and things. And it's like, well, how do I balance that? I don't want
Yeah.
that for this.
I think again, and, like, I'm sorry to keep talking about the COVID years because, like,
No,
oh, like, it's been done to death, but, like, I think a lot of people maybe experience a kinda ego death in that because it was just like, "Hey, all this stuff that you, like, define yourself by, that's gone, and now you're just alone with yourself."
yeah,
Um, like, I remember, like, Zadie Smith wrote this, like, great essay about, like, being a writer in the COVID years, and there's this line in it I really liked, which is like, "You never realize how little your life is until it's observed by the people you love." And she's just talking about how she's like she used to be able to be like, "Yeah, I'm a writer. Yeah, I'm a writer." And it was this, like, really grandiose thing. But then, like, what her family actually saw her do was, like, get up at 10,
yeah,
go to the shops, get a coffee, come back, kinda noodle around a bit. Like, that's really what, like, being a writer is.
yeah.
And so it's, like, quite a humbling thing. And then, I don't know, I think going through that too, realizing that there's no mystique around these things in a great way. The fact that we all have, like, edit suites on our phones now, essentially. You could shoot a movie on your phone. That, like, the mystique of it all is kind of a bit gone. And it makes you sad sometimes, but now I'm like, "Oh, it's kind of freeing in a way." It really is. You can just do what you wanna do and put it out there, and it's okay, you know? You can just message people that you wanna hang out with or like, um, from across the world or whatever, and they'll chat to you. Cause, like, what else are we all doing? We're all locked in our houses. And I do feel like it kinda connected us a bit more in that way, which I think is why, like, now seeing social media kinda, like, warped into this new thing, you know, is brutal because we're witnessing so much brutality on there as well. I don't know. Yeah, we don't
Feel
need
the
to get
same.
into the politics of it, but, like, it's just, like, such a funnel of just, like, so much, like, aggression, bad news, all this stuff, and yeah. I'm such a hippie, I'm realizing, in this conversation.
No, I love that because I look for that type of escapism. Like, I like
Mm,
entertainment. I like having a laugh where it's not just always like serious stuff because I feel like it
mm.
just gets shoved down your throat. Like, growing up and watching the news, I was like, okay, you just have to be aware of everything. And then sort of just shutting that off for like 10 years. It's like,
Yeah.
and then I get it all from social media. And it's like, oh, well, I don't really want it all to be this. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah,
want to laugh at some cat videos or something as well.
totally, and I think I'm quite, like, thoughtful with my algorithm, and I'm still getting it. Like, I'm really like, as soon as I get a whiff that this might be something I'm not it's not gonna be good for me to see, I'm like, "I gotta get out of it," and it's still showing up. And I just think, yeah, I don't know. Like, again, like, I go back to 2007 Twitter. Like, it's just dorks.
Yeah.
Just the nerds hanging out.
And I always found the pressure of, all right, there's a new platform, there's the opportunity to grow a big audience on something, and
For
it's like
sure.
putting that pressure on yourself to really like go all in on new stuff as well. Like, I remember
Yeah.
I went psycho on that for a little bit, and that
Yeah.
lasted what, a year or so. But
Yeah.
had some good stuff happen through that. But it was like the opportunities, and I don't know. I just feel like lately, like not many people find like are bored. It's like filling in
Yeah.
time with stuff. Well, it's like,
That's so true. Yeah. Filling in time with stuff. Yeah. Well, just as, like, again, I was talking to these, like, newbie comics about starting careers and stuff. And I'm like, social media is important. Like, social media is a way to like find audiences and get your stuff out and whatever. But also, like, you are beholden to whether or not this app's going to exist in 6 months, or whether, people you want to have at your shows are going to see this. Like, I've had things happen to my friends where it's like, oh, hey, this like kind of iffy person retweeted you, and now all these psychos following me. Like, it's just like, um, yeah. So just like, it is this thing where, I don't know. That's why I kind of keep always coming back to stand up, because I'm like, well, it's something in real life that I can control.
Love that. And relatable stuff, isn't it? It's like, I think the best comedians have that hint of truth in like what they say. And that's what
Yeah.
makes it funny, because you can get away with saying stuff because it's like, all right, that's the truth, or that's a really interesting point of view that I might not have thought of.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, like, um, I love writing jokes and stand up and stuff like that, because I'm always like, what's like just the silliest, dumbest way I can look at this thing?
Yeah.
Or like, what's something that we all, that's my favorite type of joke too. It's like, what's something we all look at every day that is so like baked into our lives? And then what is the stupidest lens to look at it, the most absurd thing? So then every time I look at it afterwards, I go, oh, that's what blah blah was saying is this, or whatever, like I think about that all the time. Just something where it's like something I can just add a bit of like magic, ease, whatever, joy into everything that we're all doing every day. That's my favorite thing, when someone just kind of nails something new, or just adds like a little hat onto something that we use every day or we experience every day. I'm not, I think a lot at the moment, like, about what the role is of like creative people. Because I'm not into that whole thing where it's like, if you have a platform, you must speak.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there are people with platforms, I'm like, shut off. Like, you don't.
Funny.
Yeah. And again, it's the disposable nature of social media. But so I'm like, what is the responsibility of like creative people? And I truly believe it is to like make things easier for other people. And then look, if you are a person that can do that through direct action by like raising money, getting people to like stand up for something, that's great. Or if you're a person who can just like make life a little easier by writing a great joke that like will just find someone when they need it, then I think that's like great too. It's not as important. I think direct action is probably the most important, but I think we can all contribute in our own way.
I think it's flipping now with how serious everything is and how we meant to live, love and laugh in these sort of conditions. So it's like when you can make people smile and do that thing, I think it holds more weight than what people actually think, because
Yeah.
it is pretty heavy and stuff at the moment. But if you can make people laugh, I think it changes people's day.
Yeah. It's also a privilege too. Like, I'm so aware that money is so tight for everyone, and I try and keep my tickets low. I probably could charge more, but I don't want to, because I'm like, I want people to go, oh, okay, $25? Yeah, I could come see this and I'll get something good out of it. And for an hour, I'm going to have a good time with other people in a room. For $25, I could do that. I don't think trying to extract resources from other people just to see me tell silly little jokes is like necessarily kind or rewarding to, like, again, people who've rocked with me for 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
why would I do that?
And you get more people coming as well, where it's like they'll come to future shows because they can experience what you're offering.
Yeah. And like, that's just a lovely thing too. Like, I started when I was 21. I'm 36 now. Yuck. And people still come. I recognize people from my first shows where I had 12 people in my shows. People still show up, and I'm like, that is so dope. And sometimes there's people who like, they hear me up and be like, hey, I'm broke as, but I still really want to come. I'll give them a ticket because I'm like, yeah, like, of course, you're part of this. This only works as like a exchange. This doesn't work of like, I'm just gonna stand on a box and people will surround me. Like,
Put yourself on a pedestal. I feel like so many people like don't have that relationship with their audience and community. It's like, oh yeah, you come and see me because I do this. It's like the two-way conversation is what people really appreciate. Hey.
that's it. You gotta meet people where they are. And like, man, everyone's broke. I don't know anyone who's like, hey, I've got so much money at the moment. So what am I gonna do? Like, I'm not going to punish people for liking me. I'm going to be like, please come.
Well, Jen, this has been an amazing chat. If people want to come check out your show, do you have dates and all that lined up this year?
Yeah. So best place you can find my touring dates, jenfricker.com.au. But I will be at Melbourne Comedy Festival, Hobart Festival of Comedy. I'm not sure when this comes out, but I'm doing like a work in progress show in Brisbane on the 10th, 11th. She's saying the day after the Super Bowl, I'll be in Brisbane doing a work in progress show, so you can come see me fall on my ass. And then I've got some dates in Sydney coming up too. So yeah, come through.
Easy. We'll put all the details in the show notes. But Jen, thank you so much for the chat. We'll have to get you on again later in the year.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for having me. And again, thank you for messaging me and just reaching out.
That's how it happens, eh?
Yeah.